What's up there and welcome to a brand new video on 414 Anime. Picture the scene, it's somewhere around 11 PM, you're all tucked up in bed, alarm set for work the next morning, you think to yourself, yeah, I can fit a couple of episodes in before I hit Dreamland, but instead of hitting Dreamland, you're repeatedly hitting the next episode button because you just can't put down that amazing anime series you're watching. And before you know it, it's 3 AM and you have two decisions at this point. One, embrace any last bit of self-control you have left and get the tiniest bit of sleep, or just accept the fact that you'll be running on full zombie mode the next day. You convince yourself that sleep is for the weak and you keep binging through that anime. I have done this on way too many occasions, too many that you could consider it an addiction or just plain unhealthy. Alas, I shall never change and will share with you now 5 anime series that kept me up until 3 AM. First up on this week's list is ReZero, starting life in another world. Other than this series having a bunch of well thought out characters that easily grab your attention, ReZero just had a really unique twist on the classic Another World story. In its uniqueness, what ReZero does really well is finishing the episode in such a way that if you were not to click next episode, I would call you crazy. Even if the episode would close that part of the story, I would instantly want to know what would follow next for Subaru and Co. ReZero actually had me entranced with its colourful image, moments that went from fun and laid back to horrifying and thrilling in a heartbeat. My own personal tug of war between Best Girl, was Rem Best Girl, was Amelia Best Girl, or do we have some weird Trap Felix fans watching this? Let me know. I still can't decide. I mean, I always slightly lean towards Amelia, but apparently that's because I'm trash, as I've been told. Anyway, I was that entranced that I remember on one sitting actually climbing out of bed at 3 AM to get coffee and snacks. I know. Next up is sci-fi thriller Steins Gate. When I decided that I wanted to cover this topic, this is the first series that popped into my mind. Admittedly, the series does start a little bit slow as you're introduced to self-proclaimed mad scientist Rintaro Okabe, who also goes by his mad scientist alter ego Halloween Kiyoma, and his fellow lab members Mayuri, Best Girl Kurisu Makise, and the lovable Daru, and of course many others. This series is passed off as a nice, easy to watch anime that follows these Akihabara lab scientists in their rundown lab trying to see if time travel is a possibility. All of a sudden, this show takes a much darker twist, and this is when Steins Gate becomes an anime that you honestly just can't put down. To use the term cliffhanger would be an extreme understatement in this anime's case. Steins Gate became that good that I remember me and my brother deciding to move all our bedding to the couch in the living room so we could just keep hitting next episode till one of us passed out. Our next entry is one of my favourite anime series of all time. That series? Code Geass. This series was just one of those that had you hooked in multiple ways. Its characters in main protagonist Lelouch v Britannia, Best Girl Colin Kozuki, Best Girl Part 2 in C2, the relationships the series build between Lelouch and Suzaku as an example, and a storyline that just captivates you in both its detail and how it's told. The list honestly could just go on. I think this was most likely the first series that kept me up until the early hours, other than the obvious Death Note as a newbie to the world of anime. The funny thing about Code Geass is that it wasn't the above mentioned hooks that kept me watching episode after episode, but Code Geass's sheer unpredictability. A lot of anime series you can just decipher what will happen next, but with Code Geass I just kept getting hit with shock after shock. And I just have to add, it's just presented and acted out so well by both sub and dub voice actors. If you haven't watched this series, then you really need to add it to your ever-growing to-watch list, but be warned, you will see the sun set and rise again while watching this. Next up, you could consider the whole Fate franchise as an entry, but I watched Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works first, and man, did it keep me up. So much so that I almost had to pull a sickie at work, not because of extreme tiredness, but because I needed to continue the binge. Fate has a very unique charm to it. It's a series that does what it does just so well. I mean, the first 2 episodes run for almost 50 minutes each, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. Other than the series having a very full and great cast of characters, one of the things that draws you are just its visuals. The fight scenes in Fate are so beautiful to watch. Not just the fight scenes, but all the visuals as a whole are just simply simply breathtaking. And I mean, I first streamed this online and was blown away. Imagine the eye orgasms I had when I purchased the Blu-ray and watched it on a 4K 47-inch TV. Woohoo! Damn, it was tasty. Visual beast mode. But what makes Fate addictive though is that it just tells its story so well. A lot of the characters known as servants are based off of real historic icons, or heroes if you will. These servants serve their individual masters or mages in what's known as the Holy Grail War. It's basically a big one-for-all deathmatch, in which the winner will have whatever wish they want granted by the Grail. I could go on and on about the Fate series, but seriously, just watch it if you haven't yet, you won't be disappointed. Our final entry was only released this year, but it's arguably the best of what 2018 had to offer, and man, did 2018 have a lot of amazing shows to offer. The series in question is action mecha romance Darling in the Franxx. Admittedly, when this first came out, I didn't really give it that much attention. I was a bit late to the game with this one. It wasn't until it got to the point where you couldn't ignore the hype of this show that I finally watched it, and damn, I pretty much finished this 24 episode series in one sitting. Same with my other ones. I could go on about how Darling in the Franxx has a great story, great cast, and really capturing visuals, but to be honest, it was main protagonist and once again arguably best girl of 2018, 02, that made this show as addictive as it was. There was just something special about 02. There was a mysterious yet relatable beauty to her character. Her relationship with Hero was something that just filled our hearts with a fond joy that you just couldn't help but root for them. And of course, we obviously all melted inside every time she said the now famous Daddy. It's just so easy to understand how she became so popular and a waifu for the millions of weebs out there. So there were 5 anime series that kept me up till 3 AM. Let me know in the comments what series kept you awake until the early hours of the morning. And don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, as it really does help my videos reach a wider audience, and subscribe for more anime content. But till next time, my fellow weebs, peace!